Once upon a time, a man bought a farmhouse that was beyond the mountains, far away from the reach of civilization. He bought it for an unbelievably cheap price. The farmhouse had a massive pond in front that looked like a lake. He felt like he struck gold and happily shifted his family there. For the first few days, they slept early. It was exhausting to shift to a new house and they were tired. But every night when they were fast asleep, they could hear their dog barking endlessly at something or someone outside. They couldn't understand why. There was nothing there. At least that's what they thought. But the dog kept barking every night, and after 2 days, it vanished without a trace. It didn't return home. They looked for it everywhere, but the dog was nowhere to be found. Just when they thought that maybe it ran away or was stolen, something much more terrifying happened. The following night, they noticed that the world around them changed after sunset. When the sun went down, darkness descended. There wasn't even a sliver of a moon to be seen. It was the kind of darkness where you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. Not a single owl hooted. Not a cricket chirped. There wasn't a peep from any animal. The entire world around them seemed to have gone silent. The man stepped outside for a moment. In the darkness, he poured himself a cup of tea and came back outside. As he stood there sipping his tea, he noticed 3 strange things. First, there was no wind, yet the trees in the distance were swaying violently in one direction. They bent dangerously, as if they might snap off and fall at any moment. Then he turned his gaze to the pond in front of the house. He couldn't see the water because it was dark. But when he looked at the reflection of the sky in its still waters, he saw that instead of being pitch black, it was glowing with a strange orange color. He wondered if it was some trick of the light. But then he noticed the stream that fed the pond was flowing backwards. Just then, a terrifying sensation overwhelmed him. He just knew that he was being watched by something unseen, that something was out there in the darkness, beyond the light of the dying embers of the fire. Something was out there watching him, waiting for him to turn his back, waiting for him to walk back into the house and close the door. As the night wore on, the man paced restlessly in his house. How he wished the sun would rise, chase away the darkness and bring back the cheerful sounds of bird song and rustling leaves. But the night was long and the darkness was heavy. Each creak of the old house, each sigh of the wind through the trees made him jump. He couldn't shake off the feeling that something was out there, waiting, watching. Then, just as the first rays of sunlight touched the horizon, the silence was broken. He heard heavy footsteps near the house. Barefoot, he rushed to the window and peered out, but it was already too bright for him to see anything. Squinting, he saw a dark shape standing by the stream. It was tall, taller than any human he had ever seen. The figure seemed to shimmer in the morning light, and before he could make out any more details, it melted away into the trees. Shaken and confused, he ran to the backyard, but there was no sign of whoever or whatever had been there. Had he imagined it all? Was he going crazy? His wife and children were still asleep. Thank goodness, he thought. They hadn't woken up to see or hear whatever had been out there. As the days passed, the man tried to convince himself that the farmhouse was just an ordinary place, but every night after sunset, the darkness would come, bringing with it the feeling of being watched. And every morning, he would find strange, inexplicable things. Once he found his dog's collar hanging on a tree branch, but the dog was nowhere to be found. Another time, he found a set of huge, oddly shaped footprints in the soft mud by the pond, but when he went to see them the next morning, they were gone. One evening, as he sat by the fire, he noticed his children playing by the light of the oil lamp. Their laughter was music to his ears, a reminder of the innocence and joy that life had to offer. But as he watched them play, he couldn't help but wonder if they were safe here. Was he protecting them or putting them in danger? Just then, his daughter, the youngest of the three, stopped playing and stared intently at the wall. "Daddy?" she asked suddenly. "Is there a monster in the closet?" Subscribe the channel for the next part.